Hey everyone, in today's video we are going to be testing out the brand new Pinpoint concealer from Lisa Eldridge. This is a micro correcting pencil which is designed to be used on the face rather than the under eye. So whether you have melasma, hyperpigmentation, acne scarring, broken capillaries, this is designed to camouflage all of those things. I picked up 2 shades in 3 and 5, and today I'm going to be demonstrating them for you because I feel like we have quite a few things to work on with this face of mine. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So I brought you in close for this so that you can see my face. You can see all of the things that we're going to be working with today and everything that we're going to be testing these pencils on. But before we get into it, I just want to tell you a little bit about this pencil. I know that most people fast forward through the product information, but I think with these pencils, I think it's really important to know exactly what it's designed for and how to use it. So this new concealer from Lisa Eldridge retails for £27 or $34, and you get 0.4 grams of product. This is a highly precise 1.5mm tip pencil, which is designed for camouflaging problematic areas on the face. It is waterproof, it is self-setting, it is sweat-proof and long-wearing. So I did watch Lisa's video on this concealer and she said it's designed for absolutely everything. So whether you are covering up pigmentation, broken capillaries, marks left by spots, whether you are using it to correct makeup, which I think is so interesting, whatever you want to camouflage, this will do the job. And she is starting this collection with 16 shades, and I picked up 2 which were shades 3 and 5. So I did the little quiz online and it suggested that I use 5 for camouflaging the areas of my face, and then number 3 if I want to kind of lift any areas, so lift any shadows, brighten any areas. These shades are fine. I probably could have gone a little bit darker than number 5. The model looked a lot darker than me, so I decided to opt for 5, which has been absolutely fine. I'll just show you the shades, but I am going to show you them out in the daylight because I think it's quite hard to see them here in the makeup room. And we have number 3 here, which is the lightest one, and then we have shade 5 over there, which is very, very close to my skin tone, which is why it's quite hard to see. So there you go, and I will show you them out in the daylight, but that's what they look like. First of all, let's take a look at what I have to deal with today, and I have quite a few different problems on my face to deal with. The first thing that I want to do is talk about these on my face, and I've had them on my face for a good while now, and if you are a regular viewer to the channel, you will have heard me talking about these and the fact that I was just assuming that they were breakouts, but actually it turns out it's rosacea. So I'd seen a dermatologist a couple of years ago who'd said that I do have very mild rosacea on my cheeks. It's never really bothered me. Sometimes I'll get a little bit flushed, but I've never really suffered with it until the other evening. I ended up triggering a bit of a rosacea spell, and then I have on my nose, you can see here what looks like redness. They're actually broken capillaries and they really bother me. And although I can cover them to a certain extent, I've never been able to make them vanish before. I also have hyperpigmentation up here, which has faded quite a lot because I've been using an LED mask, which has helped greatly. And I also have very dark hollow here and a dark vein. And I have some broken thread veins here on my nose as well. So we've got a lot to crack on with today. So the one thing that Lisa says is that make sure you are always popping the cap back on this, because if you don't, it will dry out. This is not a first impression because I tested this out yesterday and I tested this out over makeup. So Lisa says that you can use it under makeup or over makeup. Yesterday I wore it over makeup and it performed really, really nicely. So today I'm going to do what Lisa did and I'm going to pop it onto my bare skin because I'm super interested to see how it will work when I put makeup over the top of it. So these are pencils, which are twist up pencils, and it comes with a built-in sharpener on the end. I don't know how to use that and I'm a little bit scared. I don't want to break it, so I've not even attempted to try and figure that out. So I usually test things all week and then I insert the wear test footage, but I think today we're actually going to do the wear test together. So I'm going to pop it all on now and then I'll come back later on and show you how it's fared. So there is a particular way to apply this. You kind of need to scribble or kind of zigzag over the area and then blend it out. So I think we'll start here on my face with this Rosacea. This is number 5, and I'm literally going to just scribble over the first one. And then I'm going to tap in. So that's the first one. Second. I actually expected them to feel a little bit more creamy than what they are, but they still blend really nicely. So she says not to have, you know, a circular shape of this concealer on the skin, to kind of go in more jaggedy and uneven. So I'm not going to build it up too much. I don't know how buildable these actually are. So we'll go in over here as well, and I'll just do the same thing. She does say that you can go in with a brush as well, but I just think that for more precise application, it's good to go in with your finger. Have a little spot over here. Now she does say that if you start by zigzagging over it, you can then go in later on with a more precise application. I'm going to go back in over here, and I'm just going to tap over these areas and just dab. Wow. That's crazy. Look at that. Wow, that has erased that rosacea. Crazy. So I obviously did use this yesterday, and I used it all over. And the most incredible result that I got was actually on my nose, which was with the broken thread veins. Here are the broken thread veins. I've got one in particular there that I can never conceal. Let's give it a go. I'm just going to scribble and then tap. And then a little bit here and tapping. Okay, that's looking good, but I can still kind of see that capillary there. She said that you can just go in now once you've scribbled over it and you've blended it and you want a more micro fine application, that you can go back in. So there we go. Look at that. Okay, I've got some on this side of my nose. So just scribbling. Oh, it's so silly. It makes me a bit emotional. So silly. I felt like this yesterday. Isn't this ridiculous? I'm so used to seeing my nose with those broken capillaries. That's how I'm used to seeing my face. I'm not used to seeing my face without it. And here's the thing, you're probably wondering, well, why have you never done that yourself with concealer? Oh my gosh, I have. So what I would do, I would get a pot concealer, usually my NARS, the soft matte concealer, and I will go in with a brush like one of these, so a very precise brush, and I would dip into the concealer and try and tap into these areas, but I would still never fully conceal it. Now, the trickiest area for me is around here. Can you see these broken thread veins? It's very hard to keep anything in this area on because I do wipe my nose a lot, and especially when it's cold like it is now. Here are the thread veins. Now I did notice when I did this yesterday in this area, that was the first bit to go because I was constantly wiping it. So just making sure I put the cap on, and I'm going to switch over to number 3. So for number 3, I'm actually going to focus on this line, this hollow. Now, some of you I know will have found my channel through my concealing under eye hollows video. In that video, concentrated a light concealer just in the hollow. And I guess this is a perfect tool for doing that. I'm not going to go crazy under my eye. I'm just going to concentrate on this line here, on this kind of shadow. And can you see here where I've got this vein? I'm going to try and cover that up, but I'm going to do that with a number 5. So I'll do the inside with the number 3 because it's lighter, and I'm going to do the inner corner as well. Just going to draw, I'm not going to just draw a line, I'm just going to kind of scribble it like that and then tap. I haven't actually figured out whether this dries down quickly or whether you need time to leave it to set. I don't think it's too fast drying, to be honest. Let's just focus it in there a little bit more. As I mentioned in my concealing hollows video, the whole point of popping a light shade there is that you are giving the illusion that you are bringing that hollow forward. So darkness goes back, is pushed back, and light is brought forward, and that's the illusion that you're giving. Look at that. So I'm going to scribble on the inside of my eye. I think I forgot to say that I've got nothing else on my face today apart from my eyebrows. Well, let's try this vein now. So I'm just going to scribble and then tap it out. This is the number 5 this time. You have to be careful with your under eyes because that area is so thin. Okay, that's done a decent enough job. I don't want to use too much under there, but I think it's definitely minimized it. Okay, so that's just a little bit under the eye. This eye isn't so bad. So I'm going to take the 3 in the hollow, just scribble that area. Wow, that literally erased it. Oh my gosh. Let's take the inner corner. So again, this is number 3, just scribble in that area. Wow, I don't think I actually need to do anything else to that eye. This is a game changer. This is literally a game changer, for real. So I think we'll go for the hyperpigmentation up here. And for that, I'm going to go in with the 5 again, because it's basically my skin colour. And go over here. And I'm just going to do this. And I'll just go over a couple of blemishes that I've got here. I think that's enough. So obviously I'm doing a demonstration for you today. If this is a regular morning, I'm not going to spend all this time camouflaging all of these parts of my face. If I was to pick the key parts that I want to camouflage, it's those capillaries. And I would do the spots or rosacea that were visible, but that are not visible now. Okay, let's take a little look at a before and an after. We're going to pop some foundation on over the top and see how it all sits, because that for me is the biggest test. I think we'll just go in with the Lisa Eldridge foundation over the top because that just makes sense to me. So this is the Seamless Skin Foundation from Lisa Eldridge. I wish I had the skin tint, but I do not. My BK Beauty 101. So I have this in the shade 9, which actually, I don't know, I think it borders on a little bit too light for me. And I'm literally just going to tap it in, because you never want to swipe foundation on really anyway, even though I do sometimes because I'm lazy. But you just want to pat And that way you will have less chance of disturbing what's on underneath. My nose is the biggest test. Oh my gosh, I'm scared. And actually, I don't feel like you need to go in with much once you've concealed those areas. Now, it has taken off a little bit of the concealer. Can you see where that really problematic vein is? I'm going to go over that though. I think really that though the idea is that if you conceal those problematic areas, you don't need a lot of coverage after that. You just need to even out your skin tone. So that's how my skin's looking after the foundation, and I think it has disturbed it a little bit on my nose there, but I am going to go over that, and I think there has been a little bit of movement here, but that's okay. I am going to go back in with the concealer, use a really tiny amount just to top that up. So I've gone back over those areas, but actually now that I've used it over my makeup and I've used it under my makeup, I think I would probably prefer to use it after my foundation like I would do with any spot concealing concealer. Let's pop on a concealer under the eyes. I'm just going to take my Fenty concealer and just pop a little bit on because I shouldn't need as much. And this is my BK Beauty A506. And it doesn't look heavy under the eyes where I used the Lisa Eldridge concealer and then a liquid concealer over the top. I think it still looks really good. I mean, let's be real. I'm never going to have perfect under eyes. That's just never going to happen. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to head off and I'm going to do the rest of my makeup, and I'll just come back and show you what it looks like with everything over the top of it, and then we can take a look at it as a whole. So Lisa did say that you can correct your makeup with this and you can lift the corners of the eye. So I'm just going to take number 3 and I'm just going to lift the corner of the eye there. Well, I'm going to try. So I'm just going to draw a line, the lower lash line up. Just use a dense brush and just tap that up. I think that works well to lift the outer eye. I think my eyes are not as colour corrected as I would like, and I really want to set them, but I'm not going to because I think that's unfair. I think we should just do it as is. So I'll go about my day now and I'll be back with an update to see how this is worn. But just in the meantime, here are some daylight swatches for you to have a look at, and I'll see you in a little bit. So I'm back for our check-in at the end of the day, and I've had this concealer on now for the past 10 hours. And I think, as you can see from my face, I am looking a little bit more worn than before. I do want to say, by the way, I was editing the footage earlier and I didn't realise how much blush I had actually put on today. So apologies for my blush blindness. I think I just didn't really want to blend around my cheeks today because I didn't want to disturb what was underneath. So that's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. Let's have a look at how the concealer is actually worn. So as predicted, and not surprisingly, it has worn away at the bottom of my nose. So the concealer is pretty much all gone there. This seems to have faded a little bit up here where the hyperpigmentation is, but I didn't really use a whole lot up there. I probably should have put more on after I completed my foundation, but I didn't for some reason. I did top up the other areas. So the other areas that I did top up, my cheek and also my nose. Look, I don't look like I have any broken capillaries on my nose. And I couldn't be happier about it. Honestly, I am so incredibly delighted. I know you can tell. I know you can tell. But look, 10 hours in and it's not budged. And even though I have been wiping my nose, I've been blowing my nose, I've been doing a lot of sniffling, it hasn't affected that part of my nose. So happy, so happy. And on my cheek, I think there has been a little bit of natural fading in the makeup 10 hours in, but I still think that everything is concealed really, really well. So I'm really happy with the wear test. I'll actually just insert some daylight footage of my makeup halfway through the day. So this was 6 hours in. So in this footage, you can see that the makeup just looks really good, like really, really good, especially around the nose area. It has faded under the nose, at the base of the nose, but that doesn't really bother me. The rest of the face looks great, I think, with this concealer on. So that brings me to my conclusions about this concealer. So I think it's a great little pencil. I think it gives you that precise application that some of us need when we have more problematic areas on our face that are harder to conceal with your finger or with a brush. And it's actually quite a simple but genius idea. I think after using it over the 2 days, I do think it is buildable. I mean, you saw that I put quite a bit onto my cheek today and it allowed me to do so. It didn't look heavy at all, didn't look cakey, and you really don't need a lot of it to get really good coverage. The place that I was surprised about, which is what I'm coming to now, which is my eye, I don't think there's been any change in my eye today at all. Now, I used it in this hollow here, and I used it over the vein. Now, I don't think it was amazing at concealing that vein, but it was hard for me to try and conceal that area because it's such a thin area and I didn't really want to be scribbling over it. But I think in the hollow it worked really well. Having said that, I don't feel like my under eyes looked as colour corrected as I would like. But one thing I will say is that the pencil, this concealer, works really well under liquid concealer. Really, really well. I expected it to look heavy, I expected it to look dry, and there's none of that. So although it's not covered all of my darkness, I think it's sat really well under that liquid concealer. And I think that's what Lisa is talking about when she says that this can be used under makeup or over the top. But on a personal level, I think that this works better over foundation than it does under. When I popped foundation on over the top, it did disturb little areas. So for me, it's going to be a concealer that I'm going to use after my skin tint, after my foundation. That's just personally what will suit me. If I'm going on the school run and I don't want to wear any makeup, I can just run over my face with this little pencil and I can get out the door without feeling really self-conscious. So in summary, I think it's an absolutely simple but absolute genius idea to come up with these concealer pencils. And if you are suffering like me with little issues around the face or even the body, she says that you can use them on the body, and you just need a little bit of coverage in certain really precise areas, then this concealer will be an absolute game changer for you too, as it has been for me. I will come back and I will update you at the end of January because I will be doing a monthly favourites video. I am going to get back into doing that. So I will give you a proper update then, and I promise I will literally wear it every single day. So please do let me know down in the comments whether you are planning on picking up this concealer or whether it's a pass from you, because obviously it's not a traditional under eye concealer. You know, you can't just swipe it under the eye. It's not going to work like that. It is for certain problematic areas, so it's not going to be for everybody. But do let me know whether you are thinking about picking this up. I would love to hear all about your thoughts, and if you do pick it up, come back and let me know how you found it. If you did find this video helpful, please do consider giving it a like, because that really does help me and my little channel out so much. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next one. But until then, take care and bye for now.